Okay, so I'm here to give you a little reflective overview of my trip and everything that I learned. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the difference between art and non-art. And for me, I know this may sound like a very artsy answer, but it really is all relative to who's looking at the art. But for me personally, I consider art to be something that takes a lot of time and a lot of skill and talent to make, and something that instills some sort of feeling in someone. So whether it be a feeling of, wonder, of joy, of just sadness, of anger, anything that instills some kind of feeling that took a lot of time, skill, talent, and something that I couldn't do myself. I found it hard to connect with a lot of the modern art pieces because I felt like it took no effort, like I could have easily have done it myself, and I'm not talented. So that's some of the criteria for me. What is it like seeing art in person versus in a book? It's interesting because seeing art in person is very different from seeing it in a book, and that could be good or bad. For instance, seeing the Mona Lisa in person was a little bit of a letdown because it is so small and it kind of jars you because you picture it just being this huge painting of grandeur, and when you see it in person and it's this big and there's a lot of people surrounding, crowding you, it kind of impacts your view of the painting. The atmosphere has a lot to do with seeing a painting in person, whereas seeing it in a book, it is more about just the painting itself, I would say. Like a lot of the paintings that were ruined for me at the National Gallery because the security people were so intense and a little bit rude. But whereas the British Museum and like Musée d'Orsay, it was more free reign, so I enjoy those paintings more. What do I think about people risking their lives for art that I saw? I think it's a little bit crazy. I mean, I can admire the notion of believing in your art and in your cause and in your passions, your platform so much that you would risk your life. And I think that's good. I think it's cool. And for a lot of the context behind those situations and the history, what was going on at the time, it makes sense, I guess. But I personally would never do it or recommend it. Explain moments that I experienced wonder. There were a few moments that I experienced wonder, one of them being at Musée d'Orsay in the Van Gogh room. Van Gogh is my favorite artist, and I got to see a whole room of his original works, and that was amazing. Just getting to see them up close made me emotional just because I love the way that he saw the world, and like just wanting to see the world like that made me feel wonder. Another moment that I felt wonder was the first time seeing the Eiffel Tower up close, just how massive it was. And, you see the Eiffel Tower in movies and in books and on TV so much that you get used to the image, like that you think it's not even a real tower, like somehow it just only exists in TV. And then when you see it in person and how huge it is, it's amazing. How do I think this trip will impact my future experiences or my future self? I'm a lot more cultured now, I would say. I have seen so many original artworks. I've been to the ballet, I've been to the Globe, I've been to the opera, and I appreciate the opportunity to travel so much more now, and it makes me want to travel more. And I feel like because of this trip, I am going to make it an effort, even if it's within the United States, just to travel to more places and to see more things that I normally wouldn't choose to see or wouldn't get to see. And I really appreciated all the experiences I had on the trip and everything that I got to do. So now I'm going to show you some of my scrapbook that I made of all the things that I saved for the trip. So here's my scrapbook. And then here is it's backwards for you, but my plane tickets to and from. This is my customs form. Here I have like transportation page. I've got my London Tube map, my tube and metro tickets, and then this was the big train ticket. I've got the tickets to ballet, the opera, the BBC choir, the something in French right there. This was the program for the first Evensong at St. Martin in the Fields. This was the map of one of my favorite places that I went, the British Library. Here's the Evensong from St. Paul's Cathedral where we got to sit in the choir. That was really cool. This is a pamphlet from Shakespeare's Globe that I took of their future shows coming up. I loved seeing Merry Wives of Windsor. This page goes. And here's the program from the Westminster Abbey Evensong. That one was also really cool to see. Here was the map from my favorite museum in Paris, Musée d'Orsay. And then this was the package that my macaroons came in Paris. I loved the macaroons. I ate so many of them each day, and I really loved my trip.